Alrighty guys, as you can bring you guys another Dragon Ball Legends video. So this is actually going to go ahead and be another guide video. Instead of hopping into the raid, we're actually going to go ahead and be doing hyperdimensional co-op versus Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Gogeta. So yesterday we just did the raid guide. It kind of feels like it wasn't a long-lived video, right? Because we actually did just absolutely high the out of what's his face, right? Out of 17, man. It was just crazy. He actually just got demolished. And, you know, I do feel bad for a lot of people that missed out on the raid. Hopefully they do something to make it up for us. For the people that did miss it, or some people might have just slept through it, or some people just didn't get a chance to play it, right? It only was up for like 11 hours or so. Anyways, that's not the topic of this video. The topic of this video is going to be my top 5 for hyperdimensional co-op. So as always, let's go ahead and take a look at the event real quick. As you can see right here, Gogeta is red typing. So you want to go ahead and bring in the advantageous element of blue. And so we go ahead and look at the battle bonus character tags. They're not too great, right? It's kind of slim pickings here. They're not as good as the raid boss tags, or the extreme raid, whatever it's called, the extreme raid clash, I think it's called. They have a lot more options in terms of like tags. Like they have they had like a whopping 600% for Android 21, who was a free-to-play unit. Like that's insane, right? And then you go over here to hyperdimensional co-op, and you don't even have a battle bonus tag that's over 100%, which is crazy. But just from looking at this, you know, you can tell that Sagas from the movies is going to be they're going to go ahead and get the most substantial damage buff, right? They get a 75%. The Vegeta family comes in at second with 50%, and then a sustained damage cut of 30%. So you're not going to die with Vegeta family for the most part, right? The co-ops, they tend to be a little bit more difficult than the raid bosses. In my own opinion, I definitely do think that. I know that the last co-op that we had against Broly was actually pretty annoying because his blue card would faint, right? Then you have regeneration on here with like a measly 25%. Like I don't even know if it's like worth it at that point to bring a regeneration unit over a Vegeta family or a Sagas from the movie unit. Like I know like King Slug would be regeneration and Sagas from the movies, which is not terrible, but it's just like at the same time it's very because King Slug is just very old in himself, right? Or not King Slug, Lord Slug, sorry. And then you have Powerful Opponent, which is honestly one of the better ones as well. Yes, I do know he only gets Powerful Opponent only gets a 10% damage buff and a 10% damage cut, but they have a 50% Dragon Ball chance up. So obviously you can kind of tell who this is catered towards already, right? So that being said, let's go ahead and get into my top 5. Alrighty, so coming in at number 5, and I'm sure this is not going to come as a surprise to many of my returning viewers, but for new viewers, the reason why I have this Legends Limited Super Saiyan Broly full power at number 5 is because he's a Legends Limited unit. If you guys don't know, I am a free-to-play player, right? A lot of the stances that I take, a lot of my opinions are from a free-to-play perspective, and so the reason why I rank this guy so low on my list is because of the fact that he is so hard to obtain, right? Obviously, you can tell right here that I did not pull him at all. I'm sure a lot of you guys watching at home, you guys haven't really pulled him either, right? He's not really exactly the type of unit that you can just go and be like, oh dude, like that co-op is kind of kicking my butt, man. Let me just go get Super Saiyan Broly real quick, the Legends Limited one, right? There's not really, you don't really have an option in doing that. It's just basically if the game wants to bless you or not. But this guy, he does have like, he definitely, in terms of damage, in terms of like getting the event done, this is your best bet. If you do have this guy, if you were lucky enough to pull this guy, definitely bring him inside the co-op. He's going to go ahead and just basically clean up house for you. You could basically finish off the boss by yourself with this guy, man. He's really, the event was really catered to him, right? He has the Sagas from the movies, which gives him the 75%, and then he also has the Powerful Opponent, which is going to go ahead and give him the Dragon Ball chance up. So he's going to go ahead and have a lot of good stuff going on from it. And on top of all that, he actually has a 50% damage buff against Saiyan. Of course, Gogeta Blue is a Saiyan, so you guys are going to go ahead and have a field day with this guy. You know, that's that's basically it for this guy. Alrighty, so coming in at number 4 is going to go ahead and be the OG Gogeta Blue, the transforming Super Saiyan Gogeta run that has a blue typing, right? He's honestly, I mean, it was hard to say. This event was kind of weird, I'm not going to lie, because of the fact that I really don't think there was a lot of great units for this event. I really do think there was like 3 great units for this event, and then that's pretty much it. And coming up with another 2 was just incredibly difficult. The reason why this guy actually makes the list at number 4 is because how old he is, how easy he is to obtain, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are going to have him at 7 stars plus, right? I know my guy's at 7 stars plus. He is actually at Red Star 3, so he's definitely not too hard to obtain. He does have the Sagas from the movies tag, so he's going to go ahead and be getting a 75% buff in this co-op event, right? He has some you know, he has some decent stuff, right? He does pull a blue card on his second main ability, alongside recovering some health. He does have special move damage inflicted increases according to the number of timer counts as elapsed. So as the match gets goes on and on, the stronger he's going to go ahead and get. That's the only issue though, right? It's because you don't want the match to go on for a long time. You want to get it over and done with quickly, right? So that's why he makes the number 4 spot. He's not exactly the best, but he's not exactly the worst. If you're just at a dead end and you don't really know who to bring in here, you don't really have any other units on this list, then I definitely do think that if you bring in this guy, you're not going to get too many disbands, but people may disband against you. That's definitely an option there, right? Alrighty, coming in at number 3, this was actually really tough. This was a tough decision for me to make. I don't like putting Legends limited units on here. I don't like putting Zenkai units on here, let alone two Legends limited units, right? And so we actually have Modular View coming at number 3. I actually did see a lot of Majin Vegetas throughout the duration of this co-op so far, right? And honestly, I do have to say he does not do bad at all. The only buff that he is getting here is the Vegeta family buff, which is going to go ahead and be that I think it's like a 50% damage buff, right? And you do get that like 20% damage cuts. And you know, he's not bad. He's not an old LF at all. He's only like a couple, I would say like a few months old. He still has stats to prove his worth. He still has, you know, a ton of good stuff. His green card is really good. His blue card is really good. He also pulls he pulls a blue card on his second main ability after transforming, right? So again, if you guys are going to go ahead and bring in this guy, I don't think you're going to have a lot of issues. You might get disbanded because he's not really one of the more popular characters to bring into this co-op event, I feel like, but you know, to each his own. I definitely would not disband against this guy. He still does get a decent damage buff. He's still a great unit overall. So, you know, if you have this guy and you don't have any of the others, you know, again, definitely another viable option. I definitely do place this guy over Gogeta, but it was hard for me to place him over the Super Saiyan Gogeta because of the fact that, you know, he's an LF unit and a lot of you guys ain't gonna have him. But it's just because of the fact that he has been on a lot of banners as of lately, right? He was just on the New Year's banner, and then on top of that, he was on the, I think he was on the Broly banner, I think it was. So, you know, there was a couple opportunities to go ahead and pull him there. So not a bad choice at all. Alrighty, for our number 2 spot, it's going to go ahead and be the transforming movie Vegeta, the one that transforms into Super Saiyan God. And honestly, I don't think this guy is a bad option at all. I definitely, when I was first making this video, I honestly thought this guy was going to be the best unit for this, but obviously he's at the number 2 spot for a reason. But you know, he's a little bit of a slow starter. I'm not gonna lie. I think it takes him like 20 timer counts in order to transform into Super Saiyan God, and that's honestly a long time, right? You don't want to wait that long for a Super Saiyan or for the transformation to occur, right? Because you do get the card draw speed and everything from the jump. I do believe he does get the card draw speed from the jump, right? Let me go ahead and check that real quick. So yeah, so he actually does increase his card arts draw speed by 1 level for 10 timer counts from the start of battle, because he applies it every time he's faced with an enemy. So he's gonna get it off the jump, and then he also gets it once he does transform, right? So when he transforms into Super Saiyan God, he's gonna go ahead and nullify his own abnormal conditions for 30 timer counts. But the biggest thing, like I said, the reason why he's such a slow starter is because it does take him 20 timer counts to transform, and that's kind of a lot. I'm not gonna lie, that's not the best. But the main reason why I do like this guy is because he stacks damage, and if you guys don't know, stacking damage is incredibly helpful for these co-op events, especially when you're going against a bot and they have a large pool of health and you're just constantly stacking damage. You're increasing your damage output every time you do something. All right, this is where like stacking that damage is incredibly helpful. So he has this ability right here where it's 15% to damage inflicted for 15 timer counts every time a strike or a blast arts card is drawn while this character is on the field. So obviously that's where you're going to see the card draw speed is going to be incredibly important. And then his second main ability actually destroys all of your own cards and randomly draws 4 new ones. So for all 4 of those cards that you draw, you're going to go ahead and be increasing your damage, right? So he's not bad at all. I really do think this guy is pretty good. If you guys have him at a good amount of stars, I definitely do think he's an incredible choice, right? He has been out for a while as well, so I do suspect that you guys may have him at a good amount of stars, right? And that might be being hopeful though, because even though I say he's been out for a while, I do have him at 7 stars. So I definitely do think this guy would need to at least be like 6 stars to be viable in this event. But that's just me. You know, you do you. You can go ahead and bring him in at lower stars and let me know how he does, how he performs. Alrighty, before we actually go ahead and reveal our #1 pick, I do want to go ahead and throw out some dishonorable mentions right here. The only reason why I say dishonorable mention is because I do know that this guy right here, he has the sagas from the movies, and he's also part of the powerful opponent tag, so he's going to go ahead and be getting all the same damage buffs that the LF Broly does. But the only thing is that I wasn't able to test this guy because I do not have him at Zenkai 7. I really don't plan on getting him Zenkai 7, and I saw no one running in. I didn't run into no one into this co-op running a Zenkai 7 Broly. So definitely let me know in the comments below if you actually encounter one of these guys out in the wild, if you're actually using a Zenkai 7 Broly of your own. I definitely do want to know how he performed in this event, but as of right now, I really can't rank him anywhere because I have no way of testing him, but I definitely do think he was worth a mention. The only reason why he's a dishonorable mention is because of the fact that you do need a Zenkai 7 him, and I really don't think he's worth the Zenkai 7, especially if you're just trying to Zenkai 7 him for an event. I don't even think his banner's up right now either. So that's one of them, and then let's go ahead and move on to the other. All right, so this is gonna go ahead and be my other dishonorable mention right here. I know a lot of you guys are gonna see the red typing, and a lot of you guys are just immediately gonna go ahead and be like, I'm bringing Vegito Blue. I really don't think Vegito Blue is that good. I really do think you know, and it's hard to say though. At the same time, it's just I'm not really gonna disband against people picking Vegito Blue. I do think he's on the same level as Gogeta, the Super Saiyan Gogeta, the blue one. I think they're on the same level in terms of just bringing them both into this event. But it's just the fact that I know when you guys bring this guy in, you guys want to go for the LF, and that's where I'm just like, that's where I have like the heavy sigh, and I'm just like, dude, I do not want to sit through his LF. I just want to go ahead and move on to the next co-op session, man. So that's the only reason why he's on this dishonorable mentions here. I know he can do a good amount of damage, especially if you have a Zenkai bench for him, right? You have a lot of people that can go ahead and Zenkai bench this guy, including the Super Saiyan Blue Goku, the LF Nameku. I know he has a really... Yeah, he has a pretty stacked bench, right? But it just, I don't want to sit through that LF, man. I really don't. All right, and for the last dishonorable mention, it's going to go ahead and be this guy. I've been seeing a ton of these guys in the co-op, and he gets no damage buffs. He gets no damage buffs at all. Like, I understand he's a Zenkai unit, but it's just the amount of times that I see this guy in co-op, and I'm just like, dude, he's just not doing damage. Like, it just almost feels like he's not helping too much at all. Like, at least... You know, I really do think you should at least run someone that has like a damage buff. Like, it really lays it out for you, right? It tells you like 75% damage buff to sagas from the movies, 50% damage buff for Vegeta family. Like, I definitely like I want you guys to lean more towards those guys, right? Like, again, if I do see this guy at Zenkai 7 in my co-op runs, like, I'm probably not going to disband, but I'm probably going to go ahead and be talking smack. You know, I don't know. I really don't think he is the move for this co-op. Alrighty, and so coming in as our #1 pick is the OG transforming movie Vegeta. This guy was such a beast back in his prime, man. This guy was like a staple, man. He was so good. He had blast armor. His blue card did a ton of damage. His blue card actually heals him. You stack damage on his blue card on top of everything. He gets card draw speed after transforming. Like, he just does the whole nine. And the fact that this guy was actually incredibly good for this co-op is just... It's awesome, right? Because this guy's really, really old, right? He hasn't really aged well, I know, but it's just for this event specifically, he puts in so much work, man. I would even argue that he puts in as much work as the LF Broly. I really do think it's a toss-up between both of them. I honestly don't think he drags far too behind, or I don't think he drags far behind Broly. In fact, I really think he's like right up there with him. Let's go ahead and look at some of his abilities real quick. The reason why I like him a lot is because look at how long it takes for him to transform into Super Saiyan. Only 5 timer counts need to elapse for him to transform, and once he does transform, he actually gets an increase in arts card draw speed by 1 level for 15 timer counts, so you can immediately start getting like a head start on collecting Dragon Balls even before you break the shield, right? And so that's really, really huge. So you're gonna go ahead and transform and everything like that, and then you also have the damage stacking, where, like I said, it's really, really important, right? I don't think his damage stacking is as good as the Super Saiyan God Vegeta, the transforming movie one, but his is extremely good as well. I honestly do think this guy puts out more damage overall. I do think I get through this co-op a little bit quicker with this guy than with the transforming Super Saiyan God Vegeta. So you can see right here, he actually, every time he uses a strike card, you get 15% to special move damage for 15 timer counts, and -5 to own special moves arts cards for 15 timer counts, right? So every time you're using a strike card, you're buffing up your blue card and you're reducing the cost of the blue card. So you can possibly nuke the boss fairly easily, right? He also pulls a blue card on his main ability, as well as increasing arts card draw speed yet again, and that only takes 10 timer counts to elapse. So you have to think about it this way: it takes 5 timer counts to transform, it takes another timer counts to go ahead and pop this main ability. That's 2 arts card draw speeds that you're going to go ahead and be receiving on top of a blue card as the stat boost too. And then with the Super Saiyan God Vegeta, it takes him a whole 20 timer counts just to transform in the first place. So you can definitely see where I'm going with this, right? This guy's going to go ahead and be a lot faster in terms of getting through this event. So, that being said, those are my top 5 units. Let me guys know what you think. I definitely am going to go ahead and continue to run this transforming Vegeta, this OG one. He is just an absolute monster when it comes to this co-op event. If I missed any units that you would have liked to see on this list, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later!